Let's meet someone who turns everyday problems into million-dollar ideas. I'm Kate Sage. The Inspired CEO starts now. Welcome to The Inspired CEO, where each episode we explore the innovative wellness practices that are driving success and longevity in the modern business world. In this episode, we speak with Natasha Marcello, a serial entrepreneur who's turning the corporate merch industry on its head. From leading a $28 million acquisition to building and selling a $1 million pandemic pivot, Natasha now runs For Keeps, helping companies create meaningful, sustainable merchandise that people actually want to keep. This is a conversation about her purpose, culture, and innovation. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm very, very excited to be here.
Well, I've heard wonderful things about you over many, many years, actually, through the EO organisation, through business partners of yours.
We've had a lot of just worlds that have all intertwined at different points.
Yes, and I have listened to your podcast.
Oh, have you? Thank you.
Amazing. And I think for anyone who hasn't heard of it, your acronym WIBS?
WIBS, yeah, Women in Business, with an S at the end. We kind of tried to do like a play on WAGs and Wives and Girlfriends and that kind of play on words, but for women in business.
So before we go into being a woman in business, tell me about growing up and what got you into business and your passion that's so strong now.
Yeah, you know what was interesting? I was at a networking event yesterday and I got asked the same question. It was like, oh, your parents really entrepreneurial. Like, how did you get into this world? And quite interestingly, I feel like my story is not the very entrepreneurial story in the sense of, I had this vision and I had a gap in the market that I wanted to solve. Mine probably stemmed from just hating being told what to do. Yes. I hated being told what to do. Yes. I really wanted control over my own life, my own destiny, and that drove me to then find solutions and ways to do that.
Yes.
So a bit of a roundabout way, like it wasn't the, traditional entrepreneurial story, but for me, it was really important that I was able to control what my life looked like financially, lifestyle-wise, wellness-wise, like if I needed to take time off or prioritise my family, I could. So that was my driving factor always. It was like, how do I create a life that I can have choice?
And from listening to some of your podcasts as well, it sounds like your early days in the previous business that you were working with, you got some of that autonomy and you're well respected for your role that you had in the company, even before you were a part of being part of the senior management team and those sorts of things. What was that experience like?
I was blessed that my first role I ever went into straight after uni was incredible. So I worked with two brothers that owned a really great business at the time, but it was really startup. It was a real startup at the time, and I was young, like I was just starry-eyed and like, let's make this work, and so energetic. And so my first kind of world or access to the entrepreneurial world was exceptional because I just got I got given a lot of responsibility really young and just thrown into the deep end. And I'm so grateful for that now because I look at that now and I'm like, wow, like that helped me get access to entrepreneurship without having to put the money up for entrepreneurship at the time.
Amazing. And so you got that sense of responsibility and autonomy so you weren't being told what to do.
No, 100%. Amazing. It was very like, this is what you want to do. What are you good at? You do this, I'll focus on this. And it was like a divide and conquer that I think set up my career.
It's incredible because I think having that culture and that being such a big part of your early career certainly will set you up for the sort of culture you expect in anything you run yourself. So tell me a bit about the culture of your business now.
So you're completely right. So the business I was a part of, we had an incredible culture, then we got acquired. So that culture obviously shifted because we had new leadership come in.
Yes.
So I was blessed with great culture. Then I saw what culture can look like when people aren't aligned. So then now coming into this culture for Keeps merch, it is so important. It is, I protect it at all costs. I'm just so protective of the team and who we bring in to the team. At the end of the day, we've got people that are giving up 8 hours a day to help grow our vision, our dream. So for me, I want them to walk in and I actually want them to love what they do. I get you're not going to love every second.
Yes.
I don't. No one does.
Yeah,
no one loves
right.
every second of work. But I want them to at least feel an excitement towards it and at least feel like they are, they're getting as much out of it as we are.
Yes. Amazing. And so tell us a little bit about this journey. So this company that was acquired, then you worked for the people that bought it. And prior to that, though, Snacks with Bite came out of the pandemic.
Yeah. So the business I worked for was a gifting business that was around I worked there for 10 years. Now, during that period, we saw incredible scale. It was an incredible business. I got approached by the business owners at the time and they said, look, do you want to buy into this business? And I was like, actually, I want my own business. Like I really want something that's mine. So we created a sister business to it called Snacks with Bite.
Yes.
And we had the idea, spent 2 years like building out the concepts, branding, how long it takes to, we got nutritionists involved. It was a healthy snack subscription business. The concept being officers get fruit and milk delivered, but non-perishable snacks. So something that they can, so the Mars bar and that kind of thing. And they don't just have to have fruit. There was something which I'm sure you know all about.
Absolutely.
That's your whole space.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we built out. Unfortunately, when we built it out, finally ready to go, finally starting to kill it. We were getting good, really good response. The pandemic hit. So it meant that all offices nationwide shut down. So, so our whole, business
B2B model, just going into
shattered,
corporates,
shattered within 2 months. So within 2 months, it was just gone, and that was scary. That was really terrifying because we didn't know what to do. My business partner said to me, "Look, we got two options. We rather hibernate it and focus on the gifting business, or we find a way to pivot," which was that word during that time that everyone used. And I just wasn't ready to back down. I was like, no, this is my baby. I put my heart and soul into it. So we did pivot. And at that time, when we didn't know what to do, I went straight to the customer and I was like, okay, cool. We solved a problem for you previously. We solved the problem that you want to keep your staff engaged, happy, get them in the office, still healthy. What's your problem now? Like, we're going through this pandemic. You probably have a problem now. What is it? And their problem, like I'm sure everyone experienced, was not motivated, not feeling fulfilled. The staff members were just drained. They were sad. People weren't happy. They weren't feeling like, the people, no matter how much you spoke to your staff daily, you still felt underappreciated for the extra work you had to put in during COVID. So that's when we pivoted and we did at-home snack boxes. So
amazing.
It was just a way for us to be like, okay, cool, this is your problem now. This is what we can do for you now. And that's how we grew that business within the year. It was a huge growth throughout that year, which was really exciting. Yeah.
And so the next chapter then, so that got acquired as a part of the...
the gifting business. So what happened was then we got approached for the main gifting business, which was absolutely skyrocketed during COVID, which I'm sure you can imagine. Like everyone was sending gifts during that time. So it was a really, really great time. But they got approached for an acquisition. So naturally, because Snacks with Bite had that name partnership with it, so we had to sell both, which was kind of like a little bit of like I really wanted to keep it, but I respect it and everything happens for a reason. So we got acquired and then everything changed. So I went from an entrepreneur, like that I'd been dying to be, finally, and then I went back to employee. Yes. And that was difficult.
Oh, yes. And different culture, like you said as well.
So different.
So going from not ever having anyone telling you what to do to...
Spot on. And completely different, world to us. Completely different world. Like, we're very tech, e-commerce, fast-moving, agile, and we were acquired by a business that wasn't that. So very, very different ways of working. Everyone's got their own way, but it just was different. It was different to us. So that was really, really hard. Really, really. That was probably one of my hardest moments in my career. Mostly because I felt guilt because I'd promised the team this culture and this vision, and I didn't have control over that anymore. So I just felt immense guilt. being like, I felt like I wasn't being that leader that I'd kind of told them that I was going to be. So that happened, and I stayed on. Even once the boys left, I stayed on. My excuse that I made for myself for staying on was that I felt like the team needed that leader at that time, and I thought I was being a really good leader by staying on and showing them to persevere. I think upon reflection, what I realised was that probably wasn't, staying on was good, but I think the next decision I made was more important, which was to leave.
Yeah.
And that was my way of actually showing them that leadership's really terrifying. You have to be brave sometimes. I left completely cold turkey. I had nothing to go to. I just bought a home. A wedding was coming up. Interest rates, cost of, like, it was a horrible time. My poor husband, it was a horrible time to make that decision.
Yes. Well, glad to hear that you're married and the wedding went ahead.
It went ahead. So it was a really bad time to just leave. And I just left. I made the decision. This is a ridiculous time to make a decision, but I made a decision. I was at a pool. I was on a holiday, and I wasn't enjoying it. I wasn't enjoying it. I was stressed. I was anxious. My stomach. I was thinking, if I'm by the pool with a cocktail right now, with my beautiful husband, and I am anxious, stressed, what am I doing? What am I doing? And what am I showing my team that you should be doing?
Yes.
Because I want to show them that if you're not happy, it is okay to leave, regardless of financials, regardless of everyone else's pressures. It's okay to leave. So I did. And that was really, really scary. But I look back on it now and I'm so proud of that person that did that, because it forced me into a situation where I consulted for 2 years. I did marketing consulting for 2 years, and it got me to a stage where I was ready then, when I was approached by my ex-business partner, boss, now business partner, and he was ready. He'd sold his business. He was like, I'm bored. I want to do something, like, let's make something really big. And I was like, yeah, look, consulting's not for me. It wasn't my vibe. So I was like, yes, let's go. And now, a year in, it is the best decision I've ever made.
Oh, amazing. Now, I love the name For Keeps. So as you say on your website, in your social media, on your podcast, that most merchandise, 70% ends up in the trash or landfill. So tell me about For Keeps. What are you doing differently with merchandise?
When I bought into the business was called Promotions Warehouse. And it had been around for 17 years. And the promotional product industry is incredibly dated. It's very dated. It's very slap a logo on, send it out. Yeah. So when I bought into the business last year, I was really passionate about, we need to do things differently. I believe that you can create merch that people want to keep, that you're proud to keep, that, the design, the quality, the effort, the service, there's all these things that come into it. And I just didn't feel like the brand at the time reflected that. So we spent a lot of time rebranding and looking at the brand, and that's where For Keeps came about, because I really wanted to drive the message that you can create merchandise and a walking billboard, essentially, with merch that people look at, they're like, oh, cool, that's awesome, and they want to see it, versus, I don't know, I guess the lazier option of, oh, yeah, you want merch, all right, we can put a logo on this, let's go.
And I must say too that there's nothing more disappointing when you open like a show bag and it's just full of the cheapest, nastiest pens and pads and key rings and whatever. It's just, and you see how it ends up in landfill. Tell me about some of your products.
You're completely right, and I think that's why we're really starting to push more, again, like products that you want to keep. So example, like keyring power banks, little things that you can keep that actually make sense. Yeah,
cool.
Things that make sense. Or even like pens. There's pens with like little like fidget spinners on it for people that are like constantly, like, there's just so many products that you can get now that have dual purpose, I guess, is what I'm trying to say, is the dual purpose products versus just the one size fits all. Same with, like, hoodies and t-shirts and whatnot. We ensure that whomever we work with or whatever products we work with are high quality. So it's not the ones that, when you've got to put them in the wash and then it starts peeling off and all of that. No. We don't do that. We also make sure our designs are really great. So if a company was to come to us and was like, hey, look, we've got our logo, these are our brand colours, we want something a little bit different. Like we want a tote bag, but we want it to be like not just our logo, we want to design. And we've got a team that do that too. So
amazing.
It's kind of creating, again, merch experiences that make people actually feel proud to wear it, not just be like, oh, here I am wearing, the same old stuff.
Yeah. I've got a proposition. I can think of a problem that you could solve. May not be an area you're in at the moment. 2 daughters coming up that are turning 11 and 13. Now, party bags are no longer party bags. There's no whistle and lollipop and lollies, right? Yeah. People have got the coolest things that they give away at birthday parties.
Really? Yeah.
And I think now my kids are always putting me up to the challenge of, what do we got to put in the party bags? Like there is no junk in these party bags. There's no lollies because there's allergies, there's all these sorts of things as well. So it's actually such a hard thing to come up with. Like you see people doing, kids do, I don't know, face mask type things or sleeping masks or stuff for kids or teens that can be gifted. And
we do a bit of stuff like that, like like the sticky pads that you put on your phones.
Amazing.
We do those, Brandon. We do selfie lights, the little selfie lights. Yeah. So we actually do quite a bit of
problem solved.
Yeah. We do a lot of that stuff because again, it's things that like you've got teenagers, or preteens, but for even like me, I'm like I want to receive that. Yes. I just put my lens on. I'm like, who's your market? If it is women, let me decide what goes in there because I know what I love.
So cool.
And I know what I don't love. I think everyone has experienced bad merch. Not one person I've spoken to hasn't experienced it. And the other thing I've noticed is no one enjoys ordering merch. Nobody, it's usually the office manager or the marketing manager that someone's come to and just been like, we need merch, we need X amount, I've got this budget, go. And it's so overwhelming because our website alone has over 10,000 products. So you've got access to all these products, you've got this budget, you've got to make sure your logo looks good, you've got to make sure it looks good, you want something different, but you also got your day-to-day job.
Yeah.
Like office manager and marketing manager, they're not hired to do merch. Like they're hired to do multiple other things. So that's why where we come into it is like we'll be the ones to do all that. Like you don't have to do that, which is something that we're edging now. The future for Keeps is more about that service.
I love that.
Yeah.
And as we were speaking earlier about the makeup artist from Mecca, and she always talks about the service in the business being the thing that stands apart from anywhere else.
100%.
That the culture is present, the people are educated, the service is better than anywhere else really in terms of...
It's what you remember.
Yeah, and it's obviously what's resonating with this younger generation as that business booms. So
I couldn't agree. And I think the amount of AI and chatbots and now people are doing, chatbot sales agents when you call up, and there's so much tech involved that I actually think where you stand apart from everyone else is when you go against that.
Yes.
And when you actually pick up the phones. Like we're huge in our team of speak to the customer, make sure they know who you are. Our team are beautiful. They're good people. They're funny. They're charismatic. Get on the phone. Once you talk to one of them, you're going to want to keep working with them because they're good people. They're really, really good people. Versus, you go on a website and it's like, yep, we'll be back in 2 minutes. And you can tell you're talking to a bot. Like that's just never something I want to do.
Amazing. So that's one side of you. Now the other side is your podcast, WIBS. So tell me why you created Women in Business podcast.
So we actually created it during the time of when we got acquired.
Yes.
So I created my co-host Penny. She was our marketing manager at the time. And I was losing a lot of control at that time, as I spoke about. And in my experience previously, I had never really experienced too much in the face of being a woman in business, to be honest, because I had incredible mentors around me, incredible men in business around me, women in business. I was always really supported. So I hadn't experienced a lot of adversity and a lot of the things that women every day deal with because I was protected to an extent within my career. And then when we had the acquisition and we were just exposed to all different types of business, different networking events, different networks, different offices, the corporate world, like so different. I was bewildered by how much women have to go through and how much harder they had to work and how our voices meant nothing. Like the comments that I would get in those rooms, rather behind my back or to my face, shocked me. I couldn't believe it because I'd never been exposed to that. I'd been so protected. And it was when that happened that I just turned around to her one day and I was like, we've got to talk about this. We need to talk about this. I don't know what to do. Like I can't, I feel like I'm losing my voice.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm put in these situations where I'm feeling like imposter syndrome, that I shouldn't be here. I'm losing my confidence.
Yes.
I can't be alone. Surely there's other people that feel like this. And then once we started it, it was actually really special because it just opened up this world where women felt more comfortable through us sharing our stories and our vulnerability and our things that had happened, that women started coming to us and saying to us, oh wow, like I've dealt with this is what I've dealt with, thank you for sharing this. Now I feel better about calling out certain behaviours, or I feel comfortable about that. So for me, it was kind of like a spiral effect. I started it for me, for me, and so did Penn. Like Penny and I both started it for us. We started it so we could have something to gain control back, but it ended up creating this beautiful community of women that all can resonate with what we're talking about.
Amazing, amazing. And I think, like you said, you're immune from it for a period of time because you're in this supportive environment. And I think I hear that a lot. A lot of women will say to me they've never experienced it, have no idea what people are talking about or women are talking about. Yeah. And then something happens and they're bewildered. Yeah. And nobody is immune from it. It's just what's happening behind closed doors or behind your back. If you're keeping the wrong company, if you keep good company, then you feel supported. And,
you're completely right. Yeah. And I think, and you're right, like it was a privilege to not have noticed that was going on during that time, and it was amazing. It's probably things at work that did happen, but I don't know, I was very strong. I think I had a really strong support network around me that I always felt strength. Yes. So if things did happen, I was like, well, I can deal with that. I've got this, I've got this. Yes. But when I started losing that support network, I think that's when I triggered to me, and it was a really moment where I was like, okay, other women don't have support networks either. There's hundreds of thousands of women that feel exactly how I feel right now. I can't, be supportive to every single one of them, but I can at least talk about it so that maybe one of my stories or one of my pieces of advice might, hit somewhere where it makes them think, okay, I'm actually better than this. I shouldn't be in this environment.
It's amazing. Well done on your entire journey and how you're giving back as well by helping others. So
thank you.
This is the Inspired CEO, and we'll be right back.